So for more on this story, we're joined by Police Minister Bheki Cele. Minister, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us here on Morning Live.
Morning, Sakina, and morning to the listenership of the Morning Live.
Minister, it really is another sad occasion, to be speaking. We've been talking about mass shootings for a couple of weeks, and this in addition to other high levels of crime. So let me just get your sense. Are you as outraged as the rest of South Africa is at what seems to be runaway lawlessness at this point?
Indeed, Sakina, any South African, besides being in the position of responsibility, ordinary South Africans, we feel together and putting the lot of effort that we reverse the scourge. As you say, the shootings, senseless shootings, and what happened in Krugersdorp with these kids, because they are young. Especially after I've seen them, they are young people, very young, some of them. It does, as you ask the question, put a lot of pressure, but also put a lot of pain as a South African, as a parent, as a person in the position of responsibility.
Minister, let me ask you this directly. Do you believe that the police have failed? Have they failed South Africans?
No. I don't believe that police have failed South Africans. Indeed, it could be better. The question, Sakina, has come time and again. Police have really reacted. When you look at the spate of criminality of late, have reacted. Whether it's a mass shooting in Western Cape, that would be your Kailisha, the person that has been pushing that has been arrested. The arrest has happened in Sweetwaters in Maritzburg. The mayor of in Limpopo, the arrest has happened. The person that was killed again in Ekurhuleni, the arrest has happened. That is Mamelodi. There have been prevention, quite serious prevention of criminality. The guy that was arrested in a bus heading for Western Cape with a machine gun and 90 rounds of bullet. The people that were stopped on their way coming from robbery in Mpangeni, and there was a shootout. What happened in N2, N3. The next day it happened. There's been a good reaction of the police. The issue here is that we need to work harder on prevention, Sakina, but on reaction, including children that you talk about. There's been a good reaction of the police.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, Minister, working harder on prevention, because there is, of course, a responsibility for police to take accountability before, during, and, of course, after, in terms of the reaction, as you've just mentioned. But let's talk about the prevention, because from a crime intelligence perspective, after the July 2021 insurrection, that was flagged as a huge failure, crime intelligence and perhaps not working as effectively as it ought to. And once again, I dare say, in what happened in Krugersdorp, again, people in that area have been scared. They've been, basically run indoors by these criminal elements. There's an unofficial curfew in that area where people say they cannot go out between 6 in the evening, 6 in the morning. These criminal elements have been running amok in that area for quite a while. And now, after this horrific rape, mass rape, we hear that 83 people have been arrested. Why weren't they arrested previously? Why wasn't there more of a concerted, visible effort prior to this?
Again, the problem is that where there is a success of prevention of the police, Sakina, nobody asks the police about the successes that are not known. But also maybe the police themselves are not there to put those successes before that. The issue, because that community suffers from what has been broadly known as zamazamas, those people that are running amok, especially the West Rand, your Krugersdorp, your Kagiso, your Randfontein, your Mhlakeng, and all that. There have been a lot of operations that have been going on there, maybe not specifically at Krugersdorp where it happened. But also there have been huge successes, Sakina, in dealing with the zamazamas. There was an Oakley battle that took 8 hours underground, where there was a direct shootout in the battle between zamazamas and the police, which was won by the police. But also in Northwest, there was that huge operation where there was a mine established illegally. If you could look at that mine, you would think that is a legal mine, where there was the battle by this special and elite unit of the South African Police Special Task Force, where we arrested even the owners in that particular time with their cars on the spot. Exactly, the community has been terrorized there. One will concede, will take that. But on the issue of the kids, I must say that as we investigate and go forward, seeing the parents yesterday and all that, looks like, Sakina, we're investigating more than what we see. Maybe at the later stage, we would come back to that on what happened there. I dare to say that it might be more than what meets the eye on what happened on that particular day. But also, on the question raised by the community there, we'll be responding. We are going there. As we say that prevention on that one would have been better, but as we say, reaction has happened on this particular issue, but broadly on the community as raised by the structures of the community there.
Minister, speaking of zamazamas and foreign nationals operating in the area, because in our news reports, what we are running with is, of course, many of these people that were arrested being foreign nationals. Are you able to give us an exact figure of the 83? How many of those were foreign nationals?
They are all foreign nationals.
So to that point, as an example, Minister, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of complaints by the community about, one, the Zamazama activity, and also about some of the foreign nationals who openly brandish weapons to terrorize the community, and the police admitting to community members that they are outgunned by the criminal element. So are you aware of this? Has this been raised at a higher level? And not just in Krugersdorp, but in other parts of the country where police are dealing with heavily armed foreign national elements who are syndicates in some instances. Are you aware of this, and what is being done with regard to that?
Maybe what I've just raised of the operations that have taken place answers that one before you ask it. Yes, it has been raised, including in Krugersdorp, where we went, that the police from the station would raise the issue that they are not match of those criminal elements. The community would say that. It is on that score, Sakina, that the police will up their game, as we have in places like Deep Slot. Maybe that's why you hear nothing about Deep Slot today, because the police up the game there, including in Krugersdorp. The people that arrested those criminals are our special units that we send there. As I'm saying that there was some form of this behavior in Velkom that would be a year and a half ago, we sent these special trained forces to deal with that. That's why you hear less about Velcom now. That includes OPNI, that includes Randfontein. So we do respond on those matters when the community raise these matters. Even in Western Cape, every 3 months, we change our special forces, 200 of them, that they go and work on the places like Khayelitsha and those places that have a high degree of criminality and gangsterism. We do respond, Sakina, and we do have successes with those kind of response of the special forces.
Are you satisfied with the level of success, Minister?
Definitely, we could do better, no doubt about that. It can be better. All of us pulling together, doing better. If you ask me that I'm satisfied with the level of success, I will simply say no.
So looking at what is happening, because it's not only that the police, as you have also now admitted, are outgunned by the criminal element, and you know, we actually have visuals to that extent where it has been captured on film. Police on the one side, criminal element on the other side, blankets, weapons underneath. We have that on film, Minister. So these are not figments of someone's imagination. But at the same time, there's also the trust deficit that these communities have with the police, in that even when things are reported, the police are sometimes said to be on the take. They are said to be on the payroll of the criminal elements. How are you dealing with that, Minister?
Well, a point that I would not take is that police are outgunned, Sakina. Absolutely are not outgunned. Otherwise, we would not have results that we had in N2 last week, Sakina, where there was a shootout between the police and 8 criminals, where 5 of them, those criminals, were killed. The next day, there were 5 criminals that took on the police. 4 of them were killed. If you say they're outgunned, I would not really take that point. It might be a problem at the station level, of which immediately we inaugurate and we increase the capacity of the police to respond on that one. The question of the trust and the community, I agree, but is not the blanket thing. For instance, Sakina, you remember what happened in Alex. In Alex, there was that terrible incident where people moved randomly, shooting people. Those people were arrested early hours the next day. All that information of those people, that 12 of them have been arrested and twice they've appeared in court, they have not found bail. It came from the community. So there are many communities, including Krugersdorp, by the way, where communities that work with the police. What we usually do, especially where there is, at the local level, there is that trust deficit, we try to create the upper structures to receive that information from those communities. Yes, as I've said, as we agree, we could be better, but it's not very true that nothing much is done, and it's not a blanket form that all communities don't trust police, don't work with police. There are some, and there are good results on that working together, as I've put on you the story of Alex.
You know, Minister, I can't help but think back to 2010 when we hosted the World Cup, and how for a month South Africa was a crime-free zone. What happened? Why are we not able to replicate that? Why aren't we able to see on every off-ramp, police visibility? What did we do then that we can't do now? What happened? Because you were there during that time. So what's the difference?
Sakina, it was not for a month. If you request the crime stats of the police, you will see that the financial year 2009 to 2010, 2011, 2012, that was the best in terms of the crime fighting. Maybe again, one will have to answer what really happened as you are asking. Sakina, we had 195,000 members of the South African police in 2010. Today we have 176. We're 20,000 down, and our population then was 50 million, is 60.6 million as we speak. And the ratio of policing was 1.2 to 260 South Africans. Today is 1 to 450 South Africans. So that's one thing that has happened. For whatever reason that we declined after 2010. But I'm glad that the president and the treasurer have agreed that we need to really correct that. Hence, we have 10,000 trainees at the college. Sakina, as we speak, they will come out of the college and unleash them nationally. There are 10,000 of them. They'll come out on the 15th of December and will take another 10,000. That will be 20,000, which will take us back to 195,000, which will be 2010 numbers, not 2022. So something is being done, but indeed, there was a history of decline, and everybody that was there allowed the situation to happen. And that situation is biting us now.
And what about the bloated management structure within the SAPS, Minister? Almost 200 generals, more than 600 brigadiers earning almost R1 billion. Is that necessary? That has been flagged. Is that something that you have looked at?
Well, I don't know about, maybe it's the way the police call their structures. The brigadiers, Sakina, are directors. And I don't think that police have more directors than the other departments. Let me not mention departments, but there are bigger departments with bigger budgets than the police, who have plenty directors, whom we call brigadiers. The generals, especially the major generals, are chief directors, and many departments have more than that. And we are trying. For instance, there are many generals that have gone out of the system. They have not replaced Sakina. What we're doing, we're doing a reconfiguration of bringing those units together. If we can reduce it, the salary bill, that will be good. But there is a bloated. For me, I still want to be taken on board on that. Maybe that's why one has the outstanding meeting with the unions, so that we look at that. But I'm not very convinced.
Minister, as we end this, I have to just ask you, just to confirm, Home Affairs Minister Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi said that the people who were arrested, the 83 foreign nationals, were from different countries, not only from Lesotho. Are you able to confirm that? And do you have the list of countries that they are from?
It's true. From Lesotho will be even less on this group. Yes, it will Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique. I think there are few from Cameroon. But the other thing that has not been said about the kids that were raped there, it was a group of 22 people, Sakina, and all females were South Africans, and there were 10 males, and 9 of them were Nigerian citizens or nationals. So that's why one is saying there is more than what you see there. That's why we have really given a serious team to investigate, because we believe that at the end of the day we'll find more than what meets the eye that happened in Krugersdorp on that particular day.
Well, on that rather disturbing note, we have to leave it, Minister. Thanks for your time. Police Minister Bheki Cele speaking to us there. And of course, you can engage with us at Morning Live, SABC, giving us your view.